Check, check, check. Seeing if y'all can hear me. Go to the screen here. Hopefully this is all good. Welcome in, I believe it's Colorama, your early bird. Alright, so I'm trying this from a new room this time because I can actually sit now. For those who don't know, I've been injured for the last couple weeks, so I haven't got a lot of birding in, so that's why it's taken a couple weeks before getting to this, and it's still gonna probably be short. We'll see. Let's see if I can get myself to, yeah, here we go. That is where it should be starting. And we're going to start with a couple weeks ago. This would have been Sunday. Last week. Yeah, last Sunday. Welcome to Colorama. And for those of you new here, the coot sounds are coming from that emote. I have certain emotes that trigger bird sounds. Most of my emotes do it, and some other streamers do it, such as Ugly Owls there. Does that, so it's a fun thing I've added to the stream, and I'm hoping to add more of those. Usually it's my own recordings. I can't remember if that was my own recording of a solid owl or not. I kind of had to guess what kind of owl that emote was, but all right. And in the background here, we got one of my recordings from last June. I'm hoping to switch that one up a bit more soon. But yeah, I'm now up to 47 species, which isn't a lot considering how far into the year we are for me. But it's only because I really haven't had a chance to go out birding much. Today I got out some though. So this would have been from last Sunday. We've got a couple house sparrows. Nothing too notable here, but I did like the this day was my first day trying to get out for a walk after being unable to drive for several days and barely able to walk. I lasted about 15 minutes in this one, but I got lots of photos. So first birds I saw were house sparrows, so I took it. Then we got this one, so we got a few here. Maybe we'll go down and actually edit this. Let's see what the best shot is here. This is one of the brightest ones. This one's more in center. This one I brought it down a notch. I wonder why. Probably thought it was too bright. What's our ISO at? Does it say 250 versus 400? Yeah. In theory, that's better. Lower ISO is a higher quality, just less lighting. Should be less artifacting or less noise, really. This is a female northern cardinal. And it being a day that was not only bright and sunny, but also snowy everywhere, it's like perfect for bird photography. This is why winter can be really cool for bird photography. So I'm just going to see what the auto wants to do here. I don't like it. I do not like auto. For this one. Throw some contrast. Touch a highlight. I don't think the shadows need to be touched. A lot of this is pretty much fine as it is, I think. I do like to mess with the curves a little bit here. Just a touch. And yeah, let's zoom this in more so you guys can see better. Yeah, it's a nice looking bird. Now, let's just do some touch up to the photo overall. I like my very subtle post-crop vignetting, especially with brighter days and subjects that you want to focus on. Try to go subtle with it so that it isn't like too obvious that I've been messing with it. Okay, it's not bad. Nice looking bird. I'll export that. We'll call it Noka female. This is January something, or it would have been 12. Continue that. So that'll go to eBird. Another house sparrow. Female in this case. Nothing too notable about her. Oh, here we go. This is nice. Dark-eyed junco. I'm going to do much to this photo. I might take a look at what you get out of a auto here. Undo. Kind of too bright. A little bit of blur to it, but we'll just export it as it is. I'm fine with it. That's a male. I think that's a male. Yeah. Ah, here we go. Welcome in, Green Herring. So this was the star of the show last Sunday. A little blurb right here. This is a pine warbler hanging out in the snow in the winter. And I could not get it in good lighting, so there's going to be a lot of photos, and all of them poor lighting because it decided to hang out in the shade. So this is the first set of photos I got of it. At least it had lighting around it, but... But yeah, big thick bill, yellow in the front. Not typically found in the snow, but I think someone left some food for it here. Alright, so this was me trying to catch something. We got a little Junco here with bad backlighting. Junco's stirring up some snow. I like that photo. Is there a way we can make that a little better? Let's see if we can make something of this photo. Maybe center it more into there. Bring it up a tad. You can see a seed there midair being stirred up. Just gnashing at the ground. Bring this up a tad. It'll add noise, but it'll add a little more detail too. We don't want to overdo the exposure. That's why the highlights are way, way down. Oh, the whites are really high. I feel like they should come down a bit. Get a little bit of chromatic aberration, but that's okay. Let's throw another Junco in here too. Back to the library. Oh, we got a twig. This is probably me trying to get a photo of something that moved. New trail sign, at least new to me trail sign. It looks pretty beaten up for a new one, but you know. I haven't been in there a while. This is a trail that I didn't know why this was cleared, so I took this photo. This is kind of the area around there. Turns out it was cleared because there was a new culvert that was built recently. But here's like what the snow situation was like. We got all these Norway pine? No, spruce. Or Austrian spruce. I'm not sure which. And where our pine warbler was in the shade of one of these buildings here. Just for a situation shot. And a ring-billed gull flying by. I think I was just trying to ID it with a photo. Or is that a herring? That looks like might be herring. It's hard to tell if that's a red dot or not. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's still hard to tell. I think that's a ringbill. He was flying by at the time. This is the new culvert going into the wetland here. This wetland sometimes gets some rare birds in it, so I was just checking it out, seeing if there's any marsh wren hanging about. Things like that, sometimes in the winter. Okay, we're back at our star. Pine warbler. This bird. This bird should not be here in the winter, but what happens to these birds is sometimes they'll get injured during their migration, and they'll have to make stopovers somewhere. It could be it got injured and stopped here. It could be it got injured during migration and just didn't make it very far south after it was all healed up. Or it got turned around, thrown around by a storm. All kinds of things can happen. But basically, if they're not far enough south when their kind of intrinsic, kind of internal desire to migrate, which for a lot of these birds, it's a compelled feeling to migrate. If that goes away because, you know, they didn't get far enough south and they got delayed because they were injured, then they just stop wherever they're at and try to do what they can. So that's what this bird is doing. Let's see if we can do something with the auto settings here. Wow. That's bright. Maybe tone it down a touch. Don't need it to be that extreme, although I would like to mess with this a bit. Yeah, curves. Ooh. You mess with there, but bring... this is tough. Okay. Bring this up a touch. Yeah, it's a little better. This is definitely a bird that... No, it doesn't eat... Well, let's... First, I just want to see, because it is in kind of low light, sometimes messing with this may help a bit. Give it a little bit of shadows and midtones and highlights to work better in my favor here. A little more blue in the shadow. Yeah, that's not bad. And then we'll see if vignetting will help at all. That's extreme, but let's try color priority. Yeah, I want to bring the midpoint way in, but I want to feather it really well. Yeah, this gives it a little more vintage look actually of a photo, which I don't mind at all. In fact, I might want to crop this even further. Yeah, it's a good looking pine warbler. I don't know if it's a male or not. Piwa Jan 12. Alright, what's next? More of the same burb. Let's see if we can get another angle that's good. Oh, that one's kind of funny. So that's whatever it is that is what it's chewing at. So there's a whole bunch of photos here. I'd like to just kind of go through them and then pick out a favorite to add to what we have already. Oh, there's a video. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to mute the... I wonder if that's some kind of seed thing. Or a suet cake or something that someone just tossed there. Let's take a look at that video again. It's taking it apart and chewing at it, so... Looking good. Alright, what's next? Bring back my background scenes. Oh, yeah, I went downtown to see... There was a spot where apparently there was a cackling goose, but I could not find it. I did take various photos just in case, like maybe a cackling goose would stand out amongst some Canada geese. No such luck, though. What is going on here? so sure what those photos were. Looks like I had some kind of hawk. Maybe an eagle, not sure. I'd have to check my eBird list to see what... Oh, I see, 2 eagles. Yeah, these are 2 juvenile eagles. Or immature eagles. Bald eagles, specifically. Guess I was trying to get good photos of them, but failed to do so. Oh, and this was during the live stream. Well, this was last Sunday. Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, these other was last Saturday. That's right. Saturday and then Sunday. This was during the live stream. I took these photos. And while we're doing the driving stream. A little video of them. You can hear the car in the back. Gosh, I'm not sure what kind of hawk this is going to be. Or if it's even a hawk. It's maybe an eagle. So heavily backlit. Need to know my silhouettes better. Alright. Huh. Well, I don't know. Don't know that I put it on eBird or anything. Might just be mystery burb. Let's see if there's anything I can do with these photos, though, that might give a hint. Oh, this might give a hint. Maybe. This looks red-tailed hawkish. Let's, just seeing these patterns here. You know, I have a field guide this would be good for called, Hawks at a Distance. I wonder if, oh, here we go. Oh yeah, red tail. Yeah, it's the local subspecies of red tail hawk. A little hard to tell because it looks a little UFO-ish here, but pretty sure that's what we got here. Okay, take this out of develop mode. I think this was during the live stream last... No, wait, this was this morning. Okay, so it took me an entire week before I got to doing bird photography again. I was just trying to get this for a count of how many Canada geese there were in the flock. Wait, are there non-goose in there? That might be. That was mainly for a checklist, so... And to verify they were geese and not ducks, but yeah. Those are Canada geese. All right, and then I went to the cemetery. So this was kind of a fun little excursion. Woodland Cemetery is always a really... I've live streamed there a couple times. It's an interesting spot for birds. So I had these crows that were really harassing a raven. And I have some audio recordings I can go through later of that. I was trying to see if I could get some better crow photos. Doesn't look like I was getting very good ones here so far. I think there, yeah, second crow showed up. Again, it's an overcast day and these are black birds, so the lighting is not being very favorable here. I can do some, it is raw, so I can mess with things, but I think there might be some better photos as we go along here. That is the raven that was flying over, kind of taunting them slightly. Well, that's a really close. That turned out all right. It's not amazing, but it turned out all right. So we bring down the highlights and bring up the shadows. It's going to wash a little bit, but not terrible. That tail is such a... That's the giveaway for this one being a raven. Got the old wedge. Go Cora Jan 19. Actually, I should crop that before I do that. Let's go here. Over touch. Yeah, we'll do that. And continue. Overwrite that one. Might be my first photographed raven of the year. Ah, yes. Classic bird looking down at you photo. Oh, I forgot. I was going to put my bird sounds back in the background. Oops. What just happened? Everything went and disappeared on me for a second. Getting used to new operating system version. Let's go here. See if we have better crow photos. Oh, that's okay. Ooh, right. That's a whole other thing. We'll get to that in a moment. This is one of the better crow ones, I would say. I always like photos of multiple birds a lot. Prefer multiple species too, but this is alright. Actually, I'm gonna just do a little auto to this. I consider this a very artistic photo, but it is a good documentary photo. Not sure if I have an American crow on eBird yet, or photo, so that will add to it. Alright, so for the next thing, I'm going to be sneaky. Let's see if there's anyone in chat who wants to participate in this. Show you a photo and see if you can catch what's in the photo. Let's see here. I just got to include this. See what our best. Okay. Start from that. Anyone see the hidden bird? Let's see. I should zoom in just a bit. I'll give you a few seconds. And if you guess the bird is in here, you'd be right. Got this big floof ball. Right here. Let's go up and do this in order now. So first I took a highly overexposed photo, and then this is still kind of overexposed. Partly because when I was taking photos of the crows, I was turning up the exposure quite a bit. So I mistakenly overexposed these, but I can fix this, I'm pretty sure. Just gotta find the cleanest one. This might be it. Let auto and see what it does. Yeah, there we go. we have this very floofy eastern screech owl. So let's work on this photo a little bit. Kind of like this overexposed and then lower it later thing. It's kind of strange. It seems to come out better. What's up? But yeah, this is I think this is the first time I've ever actually just found a screech owl without having it pointed out to me or it being a known location, or me hearing it beforehand. I've looked at a lot of crevices over the years, and this was the first one that actually paid off. Crevices and cavities of trees are always a great spot for these, but often no luck for me on these. So this is a first. This one's gray morph, so this is, they can come in red or gray morph around here. And it's just like, I don't know if there's any like specific lineage behind it, or if it has to do with the kind of tree they're hanging around in more often, or anything like that. But I have seen red morph ones in the same area fairly often as well. So we're gonna export this as an EA. So that's our first eastern screech owl of the year. Let's see if I have any better photos here at all. They're all going to be very exposed. Well, this one's not. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, that one's not terrible either. Let's get a nice cropped super zoom on this one. Nice square photo. A sleeping bird. Welcome in, Shmonite. Welcome in, Math Teacher Guy. Yeah, this one turned out real good. Let's see if we can mess with this a little more. Zoom in there so you can see it better. You know, I've got a big monitor, but I don't have it taking up the full screen down there, of course, what you guys see. Highlights. I want a little bit of yellow in here. If I can handle it. A little yellow red. A little bit of blue purple in the shadow. It'd be good for overcast days to kind of hide that overcastness. A tad. Maybe a touch of vignetting, but not much. Fortunately, this one wasn't whinnying or screeching, but saw it. I also went looking around for more of them and came back to this spot to see if I could get more photos, and it was gone by then, so it actually didn't hang around too long. It was nearby where there was a bird feeder, and I partly wonder if it was hunting little birds at the bird feeder. But yeah, I don't know. Let's go to... So that was that photo, and then the other, like, more distant shot is this. And in case you missed it earlier, the distance shot is this. This is how it was found. Just hiding way back there, and if you were to look in this photo, it is way in there. So this is a cemetery. Cemetery is a great spot for screech owls, I find. There's a lot of old trees, and they want these kinds of cavities and crevices. So, like, really old trees tend to have those. So this is why and you have a lot of open area, which is what they love to hunt in. They'll want to sit in a crevice and be able to see over lots of open area. And because there's sparse trees in cemeteries, and they tend to be old trees if it's an older cemetery, be a great spot for screech owls. Okay, now we got some overexposed chickadees because they were following me like crazy. Because they do that at this location. Everybody feeds them. So if you don't bring food, they get mad and they just swarm you until you give them food. I have some audio recordings of them too, just kind of mobbing me. You can hear their wing beats. Like any gesture you make, they'll be like, oh, we must have something on your hand. Let's see, is this... Yeah, that can be cleaned up pretty good. I wonder if I found a trick by accidentally overexposing and then later lowering the exposure. This isn't too bad as a photo. This is a pretty good black-capped chickadee photo. Maybe just a touch more to the shadows. Yeah, not bad. I like this one. Let's keep this. Oops. What did I just do? There we go. Wrong button. BCCH. Jan19. That is a good black-capped chickadee. Same bird. Same bird, different angle. And into a blurb. Okay, so I was tracking this white-breast nuthatch. Let's see if I can fix this photo or not. Because I do shoot in RAW, generally, which means things like that can be corrected. Maybe that's a bit overcorrected. Let's go to the next photo. Oh, okay. I think I have some other better photos anyways. This one's not bad. It's a red-bellied woodpecker. So if I take out the brightness, the background goes crazy. So I think I'm going to attempt, sky selection. And bring the exposure of the sky down. Ooh, that looks weird. So maybe bring the highlights and the white down. Oof, no. Let's remove that mask for a moment. Go back to auto. Oh, I see. It's not like removing the... Okay. You know what? I'll do that and then go to subject selection if I can. Reset. Can I choose a mask here? Okay, what's going on? It's not working right. Oh, I think I have to delete this particular mask to make that work. How do I do that again? It's basic. Is it here? Delete that mask. There we go. Now we do a subject mask. Yes, that is the subject. So we'll bring up our bird a little bit. So with that, then I can go in and just do a heavy, heavy crop. Even do like a portrait orientation here. What if I auto now? What happens? Yeah. Okay, the other way I deal with the background is this is where vignetting is actually really good. Where we can de-emphasize the background very heavily. We'll feather it a fair bit so it's not too crazy. But that allows the background not to dominate too much. Let's try some different types here. Yeah, highlights a little over the top. There we go. Red-bellied woodpecker. And then go to the library here. Let's continue on. Got a blurry photo. It's okay. Bit better of a crop in. Yeah, that's the problem. We go to auto and suddenly things get weird. It's too much background. I bet you if I try to mask this, this exposure up a bit, then go back to the general. Yeah, it kind of looks a little unreal because it looks like it pops out of the picture as in looks like it's been cut out of the picture a little bit. But it's not terrible. It's a good record shot. Maybe we can do this as a super zoom one. Just really, really zoomed in photo. And then we'll vignette it a little bit to cut back on the white. That number 2. Oh, this one's kind of funny. Probably too blurry to be a good photo, but you can still see its leg, kind of, or its foot, grasping the tree. We have female cardinal again. This is when I was starting to set some seeds out because the chickadees were being so crazy. I was like, well, maybe this is a good idea. And I thought maybe the red-bellied woodpecker would come in. And it did briefly, but not enough for me to get a photo. So this is the white-throated sparrow. Ooh. Let's get this photo. Calm down. There we go. It's got a little bit of blur to it. If I could fix that. Let's see here. Ooh, this is a good one. With a juvenile. I think white striped. There's a bit of tan on the back, but I think this is a white striped immature, or second year, I should say. White-throated sparrow, because I believe that's why it's striped. Hanging out in the... Is that U? I think that's U. Y-E-W. Hey, California Burbs. Welcome in. Ooh, thanks for the 34 months. That's a lot of months. Burb.
California Burbs just subscribed. Burb.
Brian was not enthusiastic as that sounded in my head. So this is a nice little white-throated sparrow. Clean him up a touch. Don't think he needs much brightening. Maybe a little darkness around. I don't even think I need to do any vignetting because he's already nicely framed here. The green. So we'll do a white-throated sparrow, January 19th. Thanks again, California Burbs. Continue to enjoy your Burbs emotes. Well, there's another good one there too. Maybe this could be good for a really good close-up one. With the yellow lures. You bring that down a touch. There we go. That's a fine looking bird. Thanks for the new follow. These new follows are anonymous, so you can lurk away. A good-looking white-throated sparrow. What do we got next here? Same bird. Oh, this is the seeds. I was trying to get the mid-air seed. There we go. There's our, let's see if there's a better shot of this bird. I believe this is a male because of the white stripe on the eye, but we'll see if we get a good, okay. So out of these, I think this one's the best. Clean it up to remove all that overexposure. Welcome in, purse. What emote is that? Facepalm. Oh, I see. Well, let's get this. Welcome in, knitting. Yeah, so this is all taken as cemetery, and if you do not bring seeds with you, well, whether you bring seeds with you or not, chickadees will follow you. If you look like someone who could have seeds, they will follow you around and bug you until. Oh, it's a nuthatch. Oh, I see. Yep. Sorry, just from the. I got tiny emotes here. I should have a bigger screen for those. Welcome in, Golganek. This is not bad. Let's crop in on this bird. So I believe this eye stripe means male. Eye line, I should say. Picked up one that's already deshelled. Let's see, can we bring this a little more clarity? Kind of want it to be a bit darker. Actually, the best way would be darken the curves a little bit. Yeah, we'll darken all the curves. That makes it a bit better. I kind of like this, like, little bit of noise in the photo. It makes it look a little more vintage. Yeah, so the rump, reddish, very obvious when it's winter. And welcome in, Queen Vixie. I like that emote. The nuthatch one. Yeah, let's, thanks for the follow. Let's do a white crested nuthatch, January 19th. Let's be going into eBird. Okay, so we went through these already. Wait, what was that? That is potentially a dragon? I don't know. You see big claws and a blur. I don't know if it's the same bird or a different one. I feel like that's another nuthatch, or I don't know what's going on here. Don't actually remember. That is so funny. And then we're back at our screech owl from earlier. I meant to do that. Yeah, exactly. So we're at the end of this, but I'll review now some of our better photos. Beginning and by the way, this is the view I was at where the seeds set on one of these kind of stones, and then you zoom in right here, you can just barely see screech owl hiding out there. And if we go, let's go one by the photos that I have enhanced now. Got this one. Nice female northern cardinal. We've got this dark-eyed junco. What else do we... Oh, this dark-eyed junco, I did a little bit on the photo. He was stirring up snow mid... Got a shot of snow midair and a seed midair. Love a cardinal, exactly. I love the color of the female cardinals as well, too. And then we got this pine warbler, which was a rarity. Pine warblers do not typically stick around here in winter, but every once in a while there's a stray one that gets stuck here. This one was actually trying to get some food. Here's a little video of him, actually. Let's see if I can turn off our background sounds here. So I'm not going to hear much more than wind, but pine warbler is quite obsessed with this. I think it's some kind of suet cake that someone left behind for it. I think people have been taking care of this warbler because they're not typically a winter bird. But if there is a warbler that can survive the winter that isn't a yellow-rumped warbler, it's probably a pine warbler. So they're doing, that bird is doing okay so far. Been there for about 3 weeks now. Just gotta wait for my beach ball to resolve here. Here we go. I'm using a network attached storage, so sometimes it goes a little slow. Yeah, there's our Junco that was dancing. This is probably the best photo I had of the... What I did forget to do is I wanted to clean up this photo too, because I like this this kind of action shot. It's a good thing I came back here, because this is one I wanted to look at. So we're going to use the auto here just to see what suggestions it has. Ooh, that's a little harsh. Do I really want to go that far? Maybe I can undo some of its highlight changes here. Or, yeah, bring down some of its shadows. Yeah, it's a little better. Yeah, and some of our emotes here will do sounds like that. Some of the follower emotes will do that. As well as subscriber emotes. And some other birder accounts or bird-related emote accounts will too. At some point, California Burbs, I need to get some of your emotes working here. I just don't have any personal recordings of quail, for example, but I'm sure I can acquire some. Oh yeah, I have the Junco. I do have the California Burbs Junco hooked up. And what can we do with this bird? I feel like he needs to pop a little more somehow. Yep, they're always willing. Welcome in, wildest cannon. Let's bring up the shadows just a touch. I like this because he's like biting something. Pine warbler, January, I think that was 12th, and this is probably photo number 3. Alright, what else do we have? Fair to review these also while there's some extra people in. That was from a live stream last week. Not a great photo. Just identifying that it was a red-tailed hawk. Here we go. Common raven from today. Not a great photo, but it's an overcast day. So what can you do? Actually, this is a pretty okay photo showing that it's missing a feather. Then, yeah, this is the other one I worked on, which was a couple crows. They were harassing the raven. I didn't like the raven. Sometimes the sky does say, excuse me, sometimes the sky does say no. You are right. And then, yeah, here's our star of the show in addition to the pine warbler. I found this one today. Eastern screech owl. This is a gray morph one. And it was hiding in a tree, but it was the first time I have ever found one by eye on my own with no hints, no like, oh hey, there's a screech owl over there, no sound of the screech owl calling or anything like that. I actually found one in a cavity just hanging out. And I took a lot of overexposed shots, but thankfully they were in raw mode, so I was able to repair them into something a little more less bright. So we got some good shots of this one. Definitely a nice cozy owl spot. Welcome in, Triple Mused. And then we had one of the chickadees who were really bugging me for seed. Got some photos of him or her. These are black-cap chickadees. And our red breast a red-bellied woodpecker. I was also eyeing the seeds I was putting out. And yeah, when a lot of people came in, I was working on this one. Very borb for sure. And so, next part is I'm going to upload some of these to my eBird, which I am going to see if I can find my checklist so we can do that. So give me a second here while I sort that. Let's see. Woodland, yes, and Albion, yes. Did I have any Fallons ones? I don't think I did. Yeah, okay. So Woodland, we're going to media, and I'm going to turn this on so you guys can see it now. Safari, there we go. So we're in southern Ontario. So this, for example, the ones from today were this place, Woodland Cemetery, and it says Hamilton, Ontario. It's technically Hamilton, Ontario. It's a very weird spot where the city owns like a cemetery that's actually in a different city. It's actually in Burlington, Ontario, but due to historical reasons, this city owns that city's cemetery. Or at least that particular cemetery. It is along the border at least, but it's still kind of strange. Let's see, find where I put my photos so I can reverse here. So, let's find, where's our nuthatch? Nuthatch? And once I do this, my little stats at the bottom should update. Once I get all these in. White-throated sparrow, which I got a couple photos of. Couple nice looking photos. Couple red-bellied woodpecker photos. So these will be up and visible to everyone on my checklists. Black-capped chickadees. And a couple eastern screech owl photos. Which that would be near the top here. Eastern screech owl. American crow. Common raven. And I've got some audio recordings of some of these too, which is what we're going to look at next. And then, so that will be done. And then we're going to look at the media for the previous list. But yeah, this is the kind of thing eBird does, is you can make your checklist and then you can upload your photos, audio, so on. And so now, I think that says 29 down there. If I actually go to my eBird thing, it should be... Can I change this to this year somehow? Year. How do I do that? It's got to be a way to do... Oh, right. I got to go to media, go to this, and then I filter by date, current year. Show results. And that's not working. Why are you not working? Date, current year, 25 to 25. Wow. Why? Huh. If there's something broken with the filter here. What did I break? Current year. Set date range. There we go. Yeah, it says 39 there. Even though on stream it says 29. So I added 10 species so far. That doesn't sound right. Oh, maybe that's photos and not, like, species. That's okay. It's still a good number. I was kind of intending that to be the number of species photos. Here's some photos from last week, by the way. Last time we did this. And yeah, let's add our photos from last weekend. Pine warbler. Yeah, there we go. Pewa and Pewa. Got a couple dark-eyed junco photos. Northern cardinal. That should be it from last week. Done there. Still processing that photo, but there we go. All right. The next thing I'd like to do is we're going to start looking at some audio, which means I'll be turning off this audio in the background. Switching into a program called Reaper here. I'm going to try to blow that up a little more so you can see it better. We'll see how it works. We'll see. Let's see here. I'm going to be looking at spectrographs. So this gives you an idea of how spectrographs work. This is a straight tone that I have at the beginning of all my recordings because I just have the recorder set to that. So you're going to hear a beep. Now, what you're hearing is probably pretty quiet. That's because I haven't boosted the audio, so you're not going to be able to hear this. So what we're going to do is... Why is that not working? Oh, it is working. It's just on a different screen. Okay. We're going to boost it a huge amount, and I'm going to try not to hit that beep thing, otherwise you're going to get a huge beep in your ears. There we go. Woodland Cemetery. Okay, so that's me declaring where it is. I started recording because I had a raven going crazy chasing a red-tailed hawk around, but I got the recorder out and started too late. So really what we got out of this is some close-up chickadees. Which actually, those are not bad chickadee. Close-up chickadee sounds. When it comes to putting sounds on eBird, I think all sounds are useful because they do go into the training models for learning how to identify chickadees and other species. So it's actually not that bad of an idea to put in something that isn't just song. But why can I not export? What's going on? Oh, I need to render. It's not export, it's render. We're going to throw that there. We're going to call this BCCH Woodland, January 19th. We're not rendering the project. We're rendering the time selection. Okay. So this just shows that I've rendered that out, and I'm going to have that go up in eBird after. There's not going to be a lot of these today. So I think I'm done with this file. We're going to go to the next one. Unmute this. So this one's got a lot more going on. Let's see here. There's a lot of walking happening. Oh, I gotta boost this quite a bit. Got a 32 dB boost. This is walking and there's crows. And this here will be human voice. Human voice is very cross-cutting. Common raven being harassed by crow. So that's the raven. These are the crows. Here's the crow and raven, actually. So I didn't get very good recording there, but I did later. I got the crows really well, but I didn't get the raven so well. What do we got here? This looks crow or raven-like. Yeah, crow. Crows are a lot like human voice, very cross-cutting. They just don't go into the bass as much. They're much higher up there. They float up there. Unless you happen to stick a microphone right in their face, I guess. Then you might get a bit more bass. Oh, I remember this. So I was able to get a solid almost minute of that. I'm just going to render this out. Okay, oh, that'll be exported. So that'll be able to go in eBird. What do we got here? Oh, geese. Okay, that's that file done. It's one more, and I'm pretty sure it has Raven on it. We're going to take this, bring it up to 32. What's this? Yeah, there we go. Ravens. It's not a lot, but it's some. I'm going to select that and export it. MCR and Cora. Render that out. Alright. I'll see if I can get this red-bellied woodpecker as well. Alright, I was trying to get a red-bellied woodpecker sound. Didn't work. Yeah, here's the chickadees harassing me. You can hear their wing beats. This is them coming after me for food. Look at that. Oh, it's Goose. There's the wing beats again. This is actually right there. It's hard to hear because it's high pitched. That is a brown creeper. Just hiding there. There's some chickadees. Chickadees being very high pitched, doing things. I missed this creeper somehow. I'd like to export it, but it'd kind of be not very useful to listen to. It'd be good for the training model. Probably not very pleasant to the ears, though, because of the crunching. Oh. There's a little more creeper in here. Chickadee. That's neat. We'll just take the couple I have there and we'll throw them into eBird. By the way, I'll bring back my background sounds here. And where's my Safari window? Here we go. So this is just the checklist from Cemetery today. We'll go and we'll manage media and we'll throw up a couple more things. So that'll enhance the number of audio files I have. So what did we have? We had, I'm not going to include the brown creeper, the black-capped chickadee. Let's toss that into there. Got common raven and American crow. So throw those two into there. We'll take this one that's being processed and give it a common raven additional species tag. And there we go. So you can see right here. It's now enabled. All right. So the next thing I want to check out, I got a new birding field guide for gulls. I just want to do a quick checkout of it, and then we'll take a look at some old vintage LPs I picked up recently that are birdsong related. So for this, I'm going to have to move a bit and be testing out a new document camera I have. So we'll see how that goes. This is all going to be new to me. So I will set that stuff up, and I will BRB here. In the meanwhile, maybe I'll put a nice big bird right there. Alright, hopefully you should still be able to hear me, and I'm going to turn on this document camera thing. There we go. Turn off that other background stuff. Alright, let's see how well my document camera works. And if we need to brighten it, I'll use this, but we'll see. So I picked up this new guide called the Gull Guide. Actually, give me a second. I might move this mic so I don't hit it while I'm moving the guide and all that. There we go. Should be better now. Alright. I've turned off the other webcam because I'm not over there anymore. Let's see how well this can be seen on the screen. Not bad. This just came out this past year. Yeah, so if you ever thought there was a lot of gulls in North America, if you didn't know, how many gulls could there possibly be in terms of species and so on? Well, look how thick that is. North American Guide. We're going to go back to a number of pages here and look. Page 500 and something. Last page is 518. So, what I am enjoying about this one is that we've got a lot of like details about gull. We call it topography. Basically some of the biology stuff behind gulls and what terms you can use for every single feather, essentially. You'll see there we have like the mantle, the gonus angle, whatever that is, coverts of various kinds. And it goes way beyond that. We have our secondaries, every number of primary 1 through 10 of the feathers. You can use these all for identifying gulls. Identifying what parts of a feather for a gull. You can go to this. Here's what the underwing is like. And even more underwing stuff. It's a lot of detail in this guide. And then it goes even further to, things that are unique to certain species. So we got either a Bonaparte's or a black-headed gull here. It's showing the black hood, underside. We got things referring to a juvenile bird here. Oh, it's a laughing gull, actually, number 14 there. Okay. There we go here. We have juvenile lesser blackback gull. Just kind of showing what all the parts of the topology of these birds are. This thing gets very, 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 very detailed. Is this it's a kittiwake there. The lower one. Mark of the ear spot. If you want to learn all of the terms for the head of the gull. Kuhlmann, the nostril, nail, gonus spot, which I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, a Kodak grayscale, that's neat. How many shades of gray that are in a gull? That's pretty interesting. So yeah, this gets very, very detailed. Let's see if I can just pull up a species that I actually know to talk about a bit. Gull ivory, black-headed, laughing, Franklin's, Belcher's gull I've never even heard of. Common gull, which we don't get here. I actually do know one I'd like to look at if I can find it. If I can find black-backed gull. Great blackback. That would be pretty fun. There we go. These are some of my favorite ones. Showing like the range of it. Which we get them around here, but they're not in very many other places in North America. We get them in the winter around here. Ooh, realizing I need a taller table when I do this. Coming over to do this is not great. I'm going to sit down. That'll actually work better. Why am I standing? So, wow, they just went to juveniles right away. You know, even showing the normal great black-backed gull here. So number 33 here, this is like the kind of typical great black-backed gull. These were the original seagulls. When people say seagull, there's no actual species called that. But back when there was, it was this species. They are huge. They're predators. They're like just a little smaller than an eagle. They're pretty big. They can take down a duck. But they, as you can tell from all these photos, it can be complicated to identify all the juvenile, like immature variations and things like that. I think that's what the focus of this book is not just, you know, what does your typical great black-backed gull look like, but what does your atypical great black-backed gull look like? All the different forms it takes throughout its life cycle. And so, and comparing it with a lesser black-backed gull, for example, which is a slightly smaller variation in the species. So yeah. So another guide I got recently, and I'll throw this on here next. Might be more interesting to people because it's a bit more standard birds. This came out also recently, the Stokes Guide to Finches. And what's great about it is it does include a lot of information about the winter finches, like the crossbills and stuff like that, and the it includes some spectrographs for them, which is what I like about that. Let's see if I can find the spectrographs. In case California Burbs is still lurking there, he'll love this one. See if I can find the red crossbill. 114. So we have the red crossbill here. And these guys, you can only identify their population by recording their sounds and comparing spectrographs, because they don't really give away much in their plumage. They just have different call types. And here we go. You can't even identify these by ear, really. You have to have a spectrograph. Welcome in, Vash. And so this is the first time in a print book, I believe, they finally printed out what all these types are. One of them got its own species called Cassia crossbill. It used to be red crossbill. Let's see if I can focus that better. But yeah, this is the difference in the call spectrograph, the different types. And where you get these different types, this is the other fun part that I didn't really know how this all worked, is let's say you have a type 2 call, you can then look up where that bird is kind of geographically from. So in this guide, yeah, they have a page for each one. So here's type 2 flight call, also known as the Ponderosa Pine crossbill. And it gives this range for them to basically say, hey, here's the core area. Yellow is their secondary zone of eruption. Eruption meaning in some years when they don't have good crops, they'll go somewhere else. You'll know Newfoundland is one of those places they'll go on a bad year, basically, for crop. It's cone crops they're looking for. Whereas their primary eruption is like where they'll probably go regularly in winter. Or if their core area is low, but you know, maybe they'll first check the first area and then they'll second check the second area. So anyways, this is a pretty interesting book because this kind of stuff's never been in print before. Very, very detailed. So here's like the type 5, known as the lodgepole pine crossbill. Type 6, which I would have definitely never come across myself, the Sierra Madre crossbill. So clearly it is way down there. Area I've never really spent much time birding in. Ooh, the enigmatic crossbill. Not many records compared to other call types. More recordings are needed. So that's why it's called enigmatic, I guess. Interesting. There's a spectrogram there. For a while I had a hard time identifying these spectrographs even when I took them. I would always get them wrong, and I couldn't figure out why when I ran them past someone. And then I realized that this book and other guides are using just a plain, like, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like linear. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Most of my spectrographs are logarithmic. So I was comparing linear to logarithmic, and that was what was throwing me off all the time. So if you're the type of person to analyze that kind of stuff, that's something to watch out for. Yeah, they have all kinds of finches in here. Even Asian rosy finch, huh? Rambling. Oh yeah, here we go. Is this the getting the siskins here? Pine siskin. There's some of my favorites, but they're not around really this year. Yeah, fairly new guide, this one. And next one I'll show is a silly guide. Absolutely silly. This up. I wonder if anyone in chat knows what this even means. This title's got to be confusing as heck. It even came with a CD and maybe one of these times. So there's the title. Subtitle gives away what it means. Came with an audio CD, which I haven't actually opened yet. It's still sealed. This is a sealed copy. I don't know if I should open it. Guess it could be a collectible someday, right? It was 2006. But I love the humor of this book. Because you have things like this in it. The late Floyd P. Wolfarth. So fishing, you may have heard me doing streams sometimes when we are looking for birds, and that's just basically when you go psh, 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 like that in order to attract birds. What it does is, you may have noticed early in the spectrographs, the human voice covers a lot of spectrum on the spectrogram, and I don't think there's spectrograms in this book, but if there was, that would actually be kind of helpful to show you why it works. Got these techniques like for putting your finger over your mouth to do it differently. But one of the reasons it works is because a lot of birds' alarm calls tend to be cross-cutting in the spectrogram, like in the spectrum of sounds. And so when you make a sound that's cross-cutting, for certain species, they see that as, oh, someone's setting off an alarm, let's go see what's going on. There must be a predator around, or there must be something around. So, yeah, this is not a very long book. It's only 90 pages in large type. There we go, The Fisher's Pledge. Probably about the ethics. This sounds like something off the Red Green Show. On my honor, I will do my best for birds and birding to fish with gusto and a rising inflection, but not conduct myself in a manner that puts birds at risk or causes angst to birders and non-birders alike. So help me fish. And on the CD. Yeah, and welcome in, Future Rush. Just looking at field guides. Yeah, that's probably Schmonite, why that works with cats too, because they have the exact same reaction. So, next thing I was thinking of looking at, take me a couple seconds to set up, but give me a second. Since we are doing something rather silly when it comes to the guide here, I have this. I don't want to say it's silly, but it is kind of funny looking back at it. One of the LPs I picked up in the last few months. Birds of the Soviet Union. Yeah, pishing, just because you missed it. The idea is that you're going psh, 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 like that to attract birds. And people have called that spishing or pishing. I usually called it spishing, but now that I've seen there's a book published on it, I think that title wins. And so that's used to attract birds, and people will call it pishing or spishing generally. But I've got an external hookup for my LP, so I'm gonna go get that plugged in. Or I should say, for my turntable, I have that, so I'll get that in just a second here. Right. Now I just got to figure out which port I can use here safely. Oh, I don't need the webcam right now, so I can do that. Wait. No, I need an adapter. The one thing I didn't set up in advance was the LP. Okay, we'll allow that to connect. Give me a second here while I set up a record player. Copy as a source. We'll bring it in to wide swoops. There we go. All right, I'm gonna get this LP out. The hiking boots, yeah. Some snow boots. Ooh, wrong size. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, exactly. Soviet Russia. I want to get more of these. I actually do have a couple of these, but so this comes just in a plain thing. Here is the actual LP. Authorized by the CCCP. Melodica, I think is what it says. I'm going to see if I can get this working as a source. We're going to turn off our other sounds. See if this will work.
Белобровик, Турдус или Акус?
Might mute my own mic for a second. There we go. I think you guys should be able to hear that well. Let me know if it's too quiet. I might turn it up actually. I'll add some gain. Okay, I'll only add a tiny amount of gain then. Faintly hear the cuckoo. Yeah, this first bird. What is this first bird? Turdus chrysoalis. It says there. I'm gonna look that up. The nice thing about this guide is that they do use Latin names, not just Russian names. still looking up just now. What is Turdus chrysalis? That's the brown-headed thrush. It's down a bit. It looks like there's a minute and 35 seconds or so of it. And then Turdus pallidus after that.
Pjevči drozd. Turdus philomelos.
That is the pale thrush. What's Baffin Bay? Oh, is that that's like a clothing company, right? You see, you can probably see my, let me get this working again. Oh, did my webcam decide to die? It did. Let's fix the webcam here for a second. What? Oh, right, I unplugged it, that's why. That's why it's not working. Because I needed a port for the recorder, or for the record player. Okay, so when it comes to Russian record albums of birds, of all things, this is another one I got. This was actually really good. Pretty surprised. While the cover, I think, wins on this one. This cover is really nice. Birds of the Soviet Union. This one actually is I think it's 5 records. And it comes with a book, too. It is poorly translated. Voices of birds in the nature. But on the inside, they actually do have Russian section, English section, French section. No German, but they do have this English section. Birds of the Belt. The European part of the RSRFs, whatever that means. Birds of Siberia, birds of the Far East. And what I like about this one, yeah, this picture is really nice too. No Cantonese, yeah. I do like this artwork. There is another print of this that has different artwork, but I like this one better. And so maybe I'll swap albums here to where did I put oh, there it is, okay. One of these. I'll show you just a second here. Each one has an individual sleeve. It probably didn't come with this plastic originally. At least I doubt it. It's very clean. It's actually quite heavy. So I'd assume this has barely ever been listened to. Oh, Mr. Meatloaf. Let's turn that light off for a second, just so there's less reflection. Yeah, this is side 2. Let's see. This is a 10-inch record, by the way. Side 1. Voices and Birds in the Nature. Gruss Gruss is the first one. I'm guessing that is a grouse. So let's take a look. See what we get here. Oops. Sorry, I'm accidentally unplugging my monitor. I'm going to switch records real quick. Now, I believe that is a 33. Yeah, so I wish I could have a camera. I wish I could have a camera over at the record too, but I need a second document camera if I want to do that. Yeah, what we're looking at right now, it's on a document camera, USB document camera. Kind of a neat little thing that I picked up. I've been using it as the cat cam, you may have noticed, because it not just captures documents, but also cats in beds very well. So I'm just putting that one away, but that was the birds of the Soviet Union. I personally find that title hilarious because Soviet Union, of course, is like a political establishment, not, I mean, it was geographical too, but I just feel like, really, why did it have to be the Soviet Union and not Russia? All right, I'm going to put in this first disc of this Voices of Birds in the Nature. I can't read Russian, so I don't know it exactly. Because this is a 10-inch album, I have to guess where to put the thing on. Birds of the Libertarian Party, yeah, exactly.
Утро. Кричат журавли.
This one I think is actually a better album than the other. Much better recordings. Even though they're older, it's actually an older one. Part we're listening to right now is part 1. It says this record. Let's see if I get zoomed in here good enough. You can kind of read it.
Один из них трубит совсем рядом.
That doesn't sound like chaffinch. It sounds like a sandhill crane. Did I start the wrong side? Yeah, oh wait, they have this wrong. They printed this wrong. Oh, you know what? There's a side 1, side 2, but I didn't check which part it was. So it's this here. I was like, that sounds like a crane. So, hopefully I'm not making too much noise here. I'm probably making a ton of noise because I'm rubbing stuff against the microphone. Let me move this.
Слышите, словно барашек блеет. Это высоко в голубом небе такует бекас.
So it says this is mainly a recording of the voices of birds nesting
Вот он
around water
пикирует,
reservoirs
слышно, как
in
вибрирует
forests
перья хвоста.
and meadows. These recordings were made by Boris Viprintsev in the spring of 1961 at Oka Reservation in the Ryazan region, and the Zvengorod Biological Station of the Moscow University. Much aid in making these recordings were rendered by the All-Russian Society for Preserving Nature. That's what the ARSPN is then. All-Russian Society for Preserving Nature.
А это голос бекаса.
Common snipe.
На такой охотятся речные чайки. С высоты бросаются в воду, кричат, ссорятся.
Very enthusiastic Russian. This sounds like the black-headed gulls. It says number 3. If we were looking Russian. Do this here, number 3. Laris ridibunus. It's nice of them to provide English. I wonder why they did that.
С пронзительным свистом над самой водой проносятся кулики-перевозчики.
those are some of my more unusual ones. Let's see what else I have.
На речных отмелях перекликаются кулики-мародунки.
If we want to get into like North American ones, here's one I picked up. This is one of the first ones I got. Common bird songs. 12-inch, 33.5 RPM field recording songs of the 60 most common birds of eastern United States with fully illustrated booklet. It was pestering you for not using it. That's funny. This one was sold at Sherman's for $4.24
Многие
each.
кулики очень похожи. Отличить их легче всего по голосу. Это поет кулик Фифи.
So, and I'm going to bring this out shortly, but this record is carefully planned to aid the birdwatcher or nature lover to recognize common American birds by their song or call. Mostly in Ohio and Maine, these ones. And let's take a look at what the actual record looked like. Side 2. Side 1. This one's a little beaten up. $4.25 is a bargain. Yeah, it's probably around what I paid for it too, because these are not considered that valuable to collectors at all. In fact, I talked to some record shops, they essentially don't throw them away, but they usually donate them to charity. Is what they usually do. They donate them to Value Village.
Веретень, веретень.
So that's why I can never seem to find them in actual shops. So I'm gonna go collect this other album we're listening to and put it away. And then we'll listen to this one. Common Songs. This is another one of those ones where it's like they'll name the bird and then they'll play the song. And that was a fairly common format. I have quite a few that do that in various languages. One of the first ones I picked up was in French, actually. It was Quebec birds, specifically, too. And what's funny about the Quebec ones is all the names have changed since then. Because North America decided to rename North American Authority for French Language North American Birds decided to rename all the birds back in the early 80s because they
Common crow, 1.
They were too similar to the European names. So what's funny is common crow is not a term we use anymore either. This one still has the shiny.
2.
Yeah, I think that too, Future Rush. So back in the day, these were known as common crow. And they were considered to be exact same species as those in Europe. But now they're considered to be American crow.
Blue jay, 1.
Here's the blue jay. This one's an extra crackly record.
2,
Yep, you get to hear these all the time. And that's how this would be useful for people back in the day, because there wasn't any, there were obviously no apps, but like even the field guides were pretty poor at like describing what you're listening to. You kind of just
3,
had to be looking at birds as they made the sounds to learn them. I'm surprised how like well this holds for time, because like blue jays make a lot of weird sounds. I wouldn't be surprised if they changed their sounds over time.
common nighthawk.
This one's especially useful for recording because nighthawks, you only hear at night, generally. So you won't get a visual reference on them. So for some people, that $4 that
House
this album
sparrow.
cost was worth it just for that nighthawk. Yeah, just like owls. Now, house sparrow, I just kind of like, are they just filling time here? Because honestly, house sparrows are not going to be difficult to identify because they'll hang around people so readily. But maybe they're just being completists.
Bob White.
So Bob White's an interesting one because this one's extirpated in the wild in this region. I don't know where they're native to anymore, but they're not native to around here anymore. But they would have been back in the day that these were recorded. Yeah, and that's a great hornell. Everybody knows what that sounds like because of TV shows. That's part of an argument that I make for, like, if people think birds are hard to
Red-shouldered hawk.
learn. Well, you've learned some already. You just may not know exactly what they are. Oh, it's the red-shouldered hawk. That's a nice one to have in there. Yep, they sound like cries.
Whippoorwill.
There's the whippoorwill.
Songs of the Black-capped Chickadee. 1.
So they have Carolina and black-capped here, which is kind of neat because then you can compare the two, which you wouldn't normally get the chance to do, except in a hybrid
2.
zone.
Songs of the Carolina Chickadee. 1.
So I've never heard a Carolina chickadee in person before,
2.
so I don't know this one as well. I'm learning from this one.
3.
I'm going to show you one more album after this,
Calls of the Black-capped Chickadee.
and that is the Bird Song and Bird Behavior. Same guy. This is a recordist who was a professor at Ohio State University for what is now called the Borer Lab. Donald J.
Calls
Borer.
of the Carolina
Not
Chickadee.
related to another Donald J. But he released a lot of birdsong albums like this. Departments of Entomology and Zoology. He actually was also an entomologist. He did a lot of insect
Eastern
recordings
Wood
as well.
Pewee.
Yeah, you'll hear the chickadee calls the most. So another reason why eastern wood pewee, this one here, why having it on album is really good, because it's another bird that you don't see as easily as you hear it. And that's this one here, eastern wood pewee. And then phoebe is similar too, but they'll be more...
Eastern phoebe.
They're easier to find, to see them. Oh, okay. That's neat, Shimonic. Alright, so I'm going to switch us over to this one just because it's got an interesting opening to it. It's a little different because this one is not like the ones where we have just the name and then the recording. It's actually a bit more spoken word, and it's kind of interesting things it says. And that was this one here, Common Bird Songs, which has had several different covers, I think, over the years. This is the most common cover. I like how it's an import, even though it just came from the US. It's not that far. Here is the Bird Song and Bird Behavior one, very similar record label. This one's 1972. Oops, got off there. This one comes with a guide. A bonus guide that comes with it.
Example 1. A common problem encountered when making a recording of a bird in the field is the singing of other birds nearby. Here is a recording of a dickcissel, but some other birds, especially a bobolink, a savanna sparrow, and a red-winged blackbird, are about as loud as the dickcissel.
I love that the first thing they do is complain about the problems that bird song recorders have. I know, isn't that a serious microphone? So this is back in the day. This is not the earliest kind of microphone for sure. I have some interesting photos of that for another time. But
another common problem encountered when making a bird recording in the field is motor noise. Here is a recording of a Carolina wren with rather loud truck noise in the background.
There's our Carolina wren singing. So what this guy has is essentially one of those field recorders you would have had as a like a radio spot reporter type would have.
Example
one of these.
3. Here's that same Carolina wren recording with most of the motor noise filtered out.
Oh, they're showing off their filters. Yeah, and this is a parabolic, which it looks like it just has a mono microphone on this one. And the parabolic's just there to amplify the sound. I believe the microphone's actually facing inwards, so the parabolic collects all the sound and focuses on the...
Bird sounds may be classified in 2 general types on the basis of how they are produced, vocal and non-vocal.
There we go.
Vocal sounds are of 2 general types, songs and calls. Here are some songs of the black-capped chickadee.
One thing I like about this booklet, the very back, spectrographs. And this was in 1972. I wonder how they made these, but because it wasn't done by computer.
Example 5. And here are some calls of the black-capped chickadee.
There's that chickadee again. There's the back of this.
Example 6. Drummings of a downy woodpecker.
Oh yeah, one more thing I'm going to show after this one that's actually kind of new to me and just I find it funny. A lot of these things can be pretty funny.
Example 7. Drummings of a hairy woodpecker.
There goes that hairy woodpecker. This is the downy here, but the hairies look pretty similar.
Example 8. Drummings of a pileated woodpecker.
Pileated. I'm used to calling it pileated. Yeah, it could have been an oscilloscope. That makes sense.
Example 9. Drummings of a yellow-bellied sapsucker.
Yeah, there's the cover again.
Example 10. Wing noise produced by a broad-tailed hummingbird in its courtship flight.
So specific. So that's hummingbird wing sound. I wish I had better lighting here to, blot that out a bit, but I've got to get myself some
Example
more diffuse
11.
lighting.
Songs of a chipping sparrow.
Now this is a useful thing because chipping sparrow sounds very similar to pine warbler and dark-eyed junco and worm-eating warbler and swamp sparrow. And you kind of just gotta hear different versions of them.
Example 12. One of those chipping sparrow songs at half speed.
Oh,
At half
right.
speed, the pitch is an octave lower.
This is one of those interest things. It's not very useful. But is kind of them
Example
showing off.
13. The same chipping sparrow song again, this time at 1/4 speed.
They're kind of
At this
showing the
speed,
technology they
pitch
had
is
at the time to
reduced
slow down
by
sound.
2 octaves.
So you can hear what birds sound like maybe to themselves. Exactly, Shmona.
Example 14. A part of the same song again at 1/8 speed. At this speed, the pitch is reduced by 3 octaves.
And what's neat is this shows how much detail goes into that buzz.
Example 15. Songs of another chipping sparrow. Example 16. A part of one of those songs at 1/8 speed. Example 17.
Yeah.
Songs of still another chipping sparrow.
It's still another. The last thing I'm going to show, I'm going to put this away shortly here. Maybe
Example 18.
I'll turn on the other
A
side.
part of one of those songs at 1/8 speed.
Turn on the other background sound just for a minute. So in the 1970s, around the time that these were coming out, later in the 70s, and I got to look up what year this has, if it has a year on it at all. 1970, okay, so it was around the same time. There was this movement known as psychoacoustics, which was actually building upon a lot of these kinds of recordings. They would take field recordists such as Donald J. Bohr's work and work them into what they called psychoacoustics. This is just the silliest thing in the back. And this is all like probably hippies that were on drugs or something giving testimonies to listening to these albums. But this was long before like the idea of listening to soundscapes was a thing at all. Your reading speed doubled. Yes, exactly. I love how better than the real thing. And this is a soundscape album called Environments. It's actually disc 1 out of, I think there's 11 at least. And the 11 one was so popular, it's got a quote from Rolling Stone on the cover saying that how amazing it is. At the bottom here you might see side 1 is called The Psychologically Ultimate Seashore. And side 2 is called The Optimum Aviary. And I think that's maybe the one we'll listen to because it sounds like it's about birds. It's actually has a gatefold thing, so it's got an inner thing, and it's got all of this like details about how you should set up your environment to listen to this, such as any recorder. I think that might be, I gotta see if it's readable here. Yeah, any record player may be used, but the environment effect is psychologically greatest if the record player is played on a high quality stereo system with 2 speakers 6 or more feet apart and angled towards an area you ordinarily use often. Additional speakers can be set up in other rooms for added convenience. Sound reflection and center channel speaker systems provide extremely realistic wraparound effect in stereo sets. Utilizing these speakers offer an ultimate stereo environment. However, ordinary speakers aimed primarily at reflecting wall will achieve a limited approximation of effects. It is advisable to play the record a few times to familiarize yourself with the unusual characteristics involved. Important notice, should only be played at low volume settings preferably with your amplifier. Control set for minimum treble. Playback at ordinary volume and tone control settings may provide an unpleasant experience. They get deep into here. I haven't listened to this one yet. This one actually just came in. I have listened to some of the other Environments ones. Oh wow, this is an unboxing. This is a fancy, got a fancy sleeve. Got a fancy label too. I don't think the other one I have has that. Disc 1. Playable at any phonograph speed with full stereo. You can play it at, what? So you could play it at a higher speed if you want to. That's really strange. I don't know why you would do that. So disc 2, wait. Oh yeah, side 2, Optimum Aviary. Let's see. Yeah, tear down your house. That's what you do. I was also going to clean this record off before we start it. And yeah, this is it right here. Zoom this back out. Actually, I want to clean this first. Okay, and I'll turn off this other thing. This is called the Optimum Aviary. I think this is actually an aviary. I assumed it was just field recording, like in the field. So what are some things they say about this? If you've ever had trouble reading, relaxing, sleeping, or just plain concentrating, environments will be a source of constant amazement to you. You've never heard a recording quite like this one. Above are a few of the many enthusiastic comments received during extensive listening tests prior to the release of this record. Never get tired of it. Rooms seem brighter. So psychologically perfect oral environments which can be left on indefinitely without fatigue or boredom. I don't know about that. You do have to get up and turn it on again, I'm sure. You don't listen to this record, you hear it. If played stereophonically, the sound seems to be all around you, creating an unusually sensuous sonic environment. Unlike music, environments affects the subconscious without deadening the mind's ability to think. Yeah, I have a bunch of these like unusual ones. So this is kind of predates some of the terminology behind psychoacoustics. Trying to see if I can find one that has the term psychoacoustics on it. I know some of them do. I won't put this one on, but this is one that I thought was completely unhinged for its description on the back. This one's a series called Ambiance. This is Ambiance 2. And I would say unhinged because of this description, which I won't get into too much right here, but it's basically a huge downer saying that basically the world is ruined, so why not listen to this while it's still possible? While it's still possible to listen to the natural environment before we pave over an entire country, listen to this now, is basically what it says on the back. This is before the term ambiance was well known, I guess, because they put a definition at the bottom of what ambiance means. Alright, I think I'm going to set us up for a raid somewhere. Wrap up here. Thanks for checking this out with me, everybody. Oh, let's see. Who's on? Oh, why don't we go see Science? They're back on. Thanks, Moon Knight. I'm going to try to do this every Friday night, or at least every other Friday night, depending on how many photos, audio, and things like that I record. Depending on how many of them I get, basically. So it might be every couple weeks, or it depends on, if I'm not available that Sunday night. But, I'm going to rate Science Streams. They are playing some kind of crab game, but they're a science communication focused stream. They tend to stream every day, and like Monday night, tomorrow night will be microscopy. They have some nights that are games, some nights that are looking at science in the news, other nights they're sometimes they go to IRL streams where they're in museums and things like that. They are Twitch ambassadors, the first Twitch ambassadors that are science communicators. So check them out, give them a follow if that sounds interesting to you. Otherwise, maybe to say hi before you dip out. And have a good night, everybody. I'll see you over at Science. Thanks, Vesper.